हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. As I always say, it's a bliss to sit with serious devotees and discuss Krishna Katha. I was very blissful on Friday. We had Friday, Shravan camp, 6 hours of class. How many of you were there? Very good. So, the ones who didn't come, had office or something. Okay. It was very blissful to have 4 classes, and we discussed Ramananda Rai Samvad and some very, very intricate details of the 5 rasas. And obviously this Shravan camp was meant only for 16-rounder devotees. So the fathers were not invited. If you come to 16 rounds, you can join the camp. More we hear, more we advance in Krishna consciousness. Because more we hear, more we'll be able to understand the various intricacies of Krishna consciousness. It's very deep. As we read more, we understand it's very deep. Every single verse and every single word in that verse is deep. It's all a question of how much sincere and serious you are. And based on that, the Lordships will reveal these wonderful, deep realizations. And our Acharyas are so merciful. All our Acharyas in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, they are so merciful, so scholarly. I don't think there is any other place or any other parampara which gives so much of details, technical details of advancing in Krishna consciousness. About Sambandha, about Abhideya, about Prayojan, so much of technical detail, I don't think any other place it's available. Outside Sanatana Dharma, forget it. I'm talking about inside Sanatana Dharma. All glories to them, and because of them, it becomes easy for us to understand that what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to not? What am I supposed to avoid? How can I advance faster, more faster than I'm advancing now? And is it possible to attain the goal this life? And they encourage. All of them are spiritual motivational speakers. All of them, yes, you can do it. Only thing is follow these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Just focus and you'll be able to attain. That's the glory of our parampara. And in our parampara, one of the amazing writings that we have, amazing scripture that we have is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that even if all the scriptures are lost and if Chaitanya Charitamrita is retained, so don't worry, you've not lost anything. Is it the essence of all the scriptures given? After all, it is glorifying the Namo Mahavadanyaya Avatar, glorifying Mahavadanyaya Avatar, that is Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu, throughout his pastimes, especially to Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Ramananda Rai, Sarum Bhattacharya, etc., he has discussed amazing philosophy. And this philosophy is a practical one, not just theoretical one. And any devotee who understands this discussion that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with these great personalities, I think that's enough to advance in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would have all his full-time devotees in the ashram read Chaitanya Charitamrita multiple times. I heard they would read Chaitanya Charitamrita multiple times, then go to Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam. What I heard. Today what we'll do is we'll try to take one section from Group Shiksha. The Shiksha that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave it to Rupa Goswami. Just 11 verses. These 11 verses will form the basis of our devotees or sadhakas everyday devotional practice. Many wonderful things to learn. So let's begin. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19, text 151. Very famous shloka. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. In the translation, Prabhupada gives us purport also. Translation plus purport is there in the translation. He says, according to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. So all the living entities. In 84 lakh species, everyone is going, switching from one species to another, on and on and on. All Brahmandas this is going on. This phenomena is going on in all the universes. Some of them are elevated to upper planetary system, some are going to lower planetary system. That's the phenomenon. And this goes on eternally. Eternally this goes on. But out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with the bona fide spiritual master by the mercy of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and spiritual master. Guru Krishna Prasada. By the mercy of both of them, such a person, what he receives Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of creeper of devotional service. Now let's discuss this verse in detail. See, first and foremost, Prabhupada writes, Krishna is prepared to bestow his mercy upon all living entities. He is all merciful. He wants to bestow his mercy on everyone. But the only problem is the living entities don't want to receive the mercy. Because we are Bahirmukh Jeev. We are looking away from Krishna. We don't want to look towards Krishna. Lord is ready to shower his mercy, immense mercy. After all, he is merciful. He is Varadaraj. He wants to give benedictions after benedictions. But somehow, unfortunately, the living entities are not ready to accept. That's the problem. Therefore, here it is said, Prabhupada is saying, but as soon as the living entity desires the Lord's mercy, Lord immediately gives him an opportunity to meet a bona fide spiritual master. As soon as the living entity, he gets the desire, what enjoy karenge? How much I'm wandering in this material world. I think there's something beyond. Let me search for it. What is that? When that sincere inquisitiveness starts, when you understand there is something beyond this material world also, immediately that sincere soul will get an opportunity. And who will give that opportunity? Krishna will give that opportunity. And by the mercy of Krishna, the living entity is directed towards a bona fide spiritual master. Now this is the greatness of the Lord. The only thing that is needed is sincerity. Lord will orchestrate everything for the living entity. As Prabhupada says in one of the purport, more than the living entity, Krishna is more eager to take them back home, back to Godhead. Apna se dialogue hota hai. I want to attain Krishna this life, etc., etc. If you dig deep and see, not such intense desire also. But then if you see Krishna's desire, oh, he has really intense, unlimitedly intense desire of taking all the living entities back home, back to Godhead. He has that. So he is ready to shower the mercy. So as soon as he sees, oh, this living entity is sincere, immediately Krishna gives an opportunity. He orchestrates everything. He gets that living entity, then he gets a very bona fide personality in the parampara, he connects both of them. Krishna does that. So Krishna, I see, is working internally with both the living entities. One is Jiva, one is Guru. And he gets both of them together. How's that? Now, the Jiva, Prabhupada writes, is helped from within by Krishna and from without by spiritual master. So now two personalities are helping the living entity. See, after all, we're celebrities who have fallen, no? After all, we're celebrities in this world, fallen celebrities. We need a lot of people around us, secretaries, followers. So Krishna himself becomes one of the servants. And then he appoints another servant of his to help us. So there are two personalities who are serving this together, Krishna and Guru. So if anyone takes a lot of service from Krishna and Guru, it's we living entities. We are supposed to serve Guru and Krishna, that's a dialogue. But then we receive a lot of service from Guru and Krishna. And without their service, a living entity cannot advance at all. And that's a fact. Can you imagine combined two great personalities? Obviously, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna's intimate servant. They both combined together, put a lot of energy just to deliver one living entity. And not just these two. There are many, many people who come together. Therefore, it is described, there are many Shiksha Gurus who come. There's one Diksha Guru who comes. And there are a lot of Vaishnavas around. And then we have Krishna also. पूरा एक team होता है. Hari, Guru और Vaishnava का. And this team, the only goal of this team is to help the living entity to advance in bhakti and go back home back to Godhead. And whenever I say go back home back to Godhead, for us Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is to attain Krishna's eternal service. Not the shifting our place from here to Vaikuntha or Golok. We are more interested in Krishna's eternal service. So in this way, this is what Guru and Krishna are doing, combined. And their entire goal is somehow help this living entity to get free from material bondage. Prabhupada writes, very wonderful statement. If one is fortunate, he becomes intimately related with this movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Then by the grace of Krishna, one's life becomes successful. So Prabhupada is saying that if one is fortunate, then you will come to ISKCON. How's that? And that's a fact. Because Prabhupada created this platform for the living entities to come and many other great souls to come. And these great souls will guide the living entities, the Buddha Jivas. And that's how they'll advance in bhakti and go back home back to Godhead. This is the glory of our Lord, glory of our organization. And also it is given, everyone has dormant Krishna bhakti, love for Krishna, and in the association of good devotees, that love is revealed. So that Krishna Prem is dormant, Prabhupada is saying, in everyone's heart. And by the association of a pure devotee, that becomes uncovered. And that's how the person attains Krishna Prem. It's very clear, very clearly given by Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami himself. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karayodaya. So the only thing that takes place is, it's already there, it's covered, it becomes uncovered and it gets manifested completely. So this is about what Guru and Krishna are doing for the living entities. But here, one thing that is said is, Guru and Krishna, they give us Bhakti Lata Beach. They give us Bhakti Lata Beach and we receive that. So what is this Bhakti Lata Beach? This is very important to understand. Bhakti Lata Beach is the transcendental knowledge that is received from the spiritual master. And this transcendental knowledge comes in the form of, Prabhupada writes three things: methods, rules, regulations. Methods, rules and regulations. So these three things, this is transcendental knowledge. It comes in the form of methods, rules and regulations, by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service. So what is the job of the Guru? What is the, if you ask, what is the JD of a Guru? Job description of a Guru? He trains the disciple. Very, very important. He trains the disciple. So whenever a disciple, he says, I'm very indebted to my Guru. I'm very indebted. And if you ask, why so? Why? What your Guru has done? At that time, the only answer that should come is, he has trained me in Krishna consciousness. With ऐसा training, कभी ना मिला था, मिलेगा कि नहीं पता नहीं. Now we're getting it. Therefore, the living entity is very much indebted. The disciple is very much indebted. Because he knows from many, many lifetimes I was trained to do sense gratification. And now suddenly by the mercy of this great soul, I'm getting training how to render devotional service. He's very indebted. Obviously, when we don't have this understanding, then we become indebted to Guru Maharaj, especially Diksha Guru, saying, he gave me a name, he gave me beads, he glanced at me, He spoke to me, he said, Hare Krishna. I'm so indebted to him. No, that's not the reason why a disciple is indebted to a spiritual master. He's indebted because the spiritual master has trained the disciple. When all the devotees, when ISKCON become practical, understanding this fact, I think life will be very simple. Yes, and not fanatically emotional, as many devotees are swaying, fanatic and emotion. Yes, going on and on. So this is the transcendental knowledge. Now, one thing that has to be understood very clearly is that this knowledge, as well as the actions inspired by that knowledge, cultivates the seed into a creeper. We'll discuss that now. But before that, it's not that there is only one type of seed. It's not that there is only one type of seed called Bhakti Lata Beej. Prabhupada mercifully writes for all of us, there are two other major seeds. Karma Bija and Jnana Bija. Karma Bija basically means the transcendental knowledge polluted by the desire for enjoyment. And Jnana Bija means transcendental knowledge polluted by the desire for liberation. Now just imagine each and every day when we come in touch with all the mundane things of this world, all that is putting some knowledge within us, within our system. And all of that is contaminated. Well, in Kali Yuga, mostly it's enjoyment only. What else? That too tamasic enjoyment, not even rajasic. Tamasic enjoyment. That contamination is put. And therefore we will see that even if the devotee is rendering devotional service, unfortunately, he has these tamasic enjoyment tendencies. So unfortunate. So unfortunate. Therefore, whatever we see, whatever we hear, other than Krishna consciousness, we should be very clear that is going to just contaminate this transcendental knowledge that we have received from Guru and Krishna in this parampara. Always remember this very, very important point. Every time you see a YouTube short, your bhakti becomes short. That's a fact. If something else comes over it, that's contamination. It becomes short. And every time when you talk to some mundane materialist, remember, he has intense material desires for tamasic enjoyment. And our desire for bhakti is not that intense. So remember, who is at the higher level? Who is at the higher level? Obviously not we, the materialist. He is at the higher level. We are at the lower level. Guess how I transfer? Higher level to lower level. And this is exactly what takes place, and that's how that mood of pure devotional service gets contaminated by material enjoyment. And obviously, when you meet frustrated people in this world and they keep talking material, it's a very God place, this and that, I want to get rid of this place. We might also get the desire for liberation, saying, yeah, even I should get rid of this world. So remember always that these two bijas, Karma Bij and Jnana Bij, they are also sold or they are also given to us by many others in this world. So Guru gives Bhakti Lata Bij and the other personalities of this world, they give us Karma Bij and Jnana Bij. Abhi sare Bij hamare paas hai. We have it now. Now what to do next? That is spoken very beautifully. Mali haya kare se bijaropan Shravana kirtane jale kare sechan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying every devotee should become a mali, a gardener, transcendental gardener. And what he should do, the first thing, abhi jo beej mila hai, is supposed to sow that seed in his heart. This is what he should do. First, the gardener will sow the seed. Next thing that he does is, he waters the seed. Yes. He has sown the seed, now he waters the seed. So two things he is doing. He is sowing and he is watering. That's what is given here. Now what is meant by watering? Very beautifully it is described here. Shravana Kirtana is watering. So more you do Shravana Kirtan, that watering process takes place. Prabhupada writes, To live with the devotees or to live in a temple means to associate with the Shravan Kirtan process. As simple as this. Just to stay with devotees, staying in the temple, that itself means to associate with the process of Shravan Kirtan. Naturally it will happen, naturally. Therefore, the first thing that is needed in a devotee's life, who literally wants to sow the seed of Bhakti Lata and grow the Bhakti Lata, first thing that he has to do is have a very good, strong association of serious devotees who are aspiring to attain Krishna. We need to have that association of serious devotees. Namesake devotee is very difficult. कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा ज़्यादा उससे. We'll just learn how to put tilak and how to wear kanti and dhoti kurta. That's it. But how to actually do bhakti seriously? That serious devotees can teach us by their conduct. Therefore, the first thing is association of serious, sincere devotees. And as soon as I use this word sincere, we should be very clear. Sincere means he's very eager to attain the goal. He has no other goal apart from Krishna Prem. This has to be very clear. So now what has happened till now? By the mercy of Krishna, one meets a bona fide spiritual master. And by the mercy of spiritual master, the disciple is fully trained in Krishna consciousness. Now, what it means to sow the seed, we need to understand. After receiving the spiritual master's mercy, one should repeat his instructions, and this is called Shravan Kirtan, hearing and chanting. So you have to embrace those instructions, that is, implement those instructions in day-to-day life, then repeat those instructions for others. This is called as Shravan Kirtan. So, many of the times I've seen people take initiation, and after that they stop hearing the spiritual master's lectures. In one temple, one devotee was telling that, "Oh, see, these devotees are aspiring and they want to take the initiation very soon. So, please help them to become more serious." I said, "They're already serious, therefore they're taking initiation." No. It's our experience till now that whoever takes initiation, they never turn up to the temple again. Done. Job is done. Baki Guru Maharaj dekhenge. My job was to take initiation. His job is to deliver me. It doesn't work like that, Haribol. It doesn't work like that. We have to embrace the instructions. Therefore, it is said that who is a perfect disciple? Perfect disciple is the one who accepts the instruction and follows it. Not just noting it down. Okay, instruction 1, Guru Maharaj said. Instruction 2. Next Vyas Puja, I'll open it again. Yes. No, it doesn't work like that. We need to embrace the instructions. Means we need to implement the instructions. If not able to implement, at least meditate, Baba. At least meditate on it. Usme thodi problem goes. You can always meditate on those instructions, and someday we will become capable to implement the same. So this is something that a devotee should do. Then, when he has heard sufficiently from the spiritual master, then he can repeat the instructions. Then he can become a preacher. If he has not heard sufficiently, then what's the point? What's the point? And remember always, whenever we say, hear, it's not just hearing, it's about reading also. So one has to read what the spiritual master has given to us, what Srila Prabhupada has given to us, and the entire parampara has given to us. And nowadays, many initiating spiritual masters and other senior devotees are writing books. So devotees should know that that book is for whom. That also should be known very clearly. If the spiritual master has written a book, or a senior devotee has written a book for an outreach program, for getting more and more souls into Krishna consciousness, that book is not meant for us. And there's some book that is written for helping the devotees to advance to the next ladder, or not next step in Krishna consciousness. That book is meant for us. And always remember, before all these books, one has to thoroughly study Prabhupada's books. Then comes all these other books. Prabhupada's books are the main course for us. And all these different books are the side dishes. Always this has to be remembered for all of us. Because if this is not done properly, if you don't understand what Prabhupada has given, because Prabhupada has given everything that is needed for a devotee to train himself to go back home back to Godhead, to attain Krishna Prema. If you don't understand what Prabhupada has given, if you are not reading Prabhupada's books and just doing everything around Prabhupada's books, then what's the point? That's the point. So this is one of the very, very important things to be noted. So this is Shravan Kirtan. Reading and hearing what is given by the personalities in the Parampara. I hope this point is clear. I had a very wonderful point. Seed can rot also. Have you heard about this? When you sow the seed can also rot. And the rotten seed cannot grow. And the question comes, in general, how does the seed rot? Not watered properly means? No, in terms of day-to-day gardening I'm talking about. Purport I give. Too much of water. When you pour too much of water, then the seed will rot. Yes. Similarly, too much of water is not too much Shravan Kirtan. Too much of water here means, in this context, hearing something for which we don't have adhikar. Very, very important. Hearing something which we don't have adhikar for. And the simple thing is the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. The topics of Rasa Leela, etc. Adhikari nahi. And we want to pour that water. We want to pour excessive water of that. What will happen? The seed will rot. Means the person will not be able to grow in devotional service. Unfortunately, he'll end up committing a lot of offenses onto the Lord. And when that happens, where is the question of advancing bhakti? Therefore, Prabhupada, how many times he cautions about this? How many times? And I was very happy to also read some Gaudiya Math sannyasis also, who were during Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada's godbrothers. They were also very keen about this point, that don't hear those topics which you are not having adhikar for. This is called as overwatering. The seed will rot and the person will not be able to grow in bhakti. So according to our adhikar, we are supposed to hear, we are supposed to read. And we have so much to discuss, so much to read, so much to hear. So many pastimes of the Lord and His devotees, so many. All those are meant for us. We're supposed to read that, we're supposed to hear. And that will help us to grow in Krishna consciousness. Yes, when the right time comes, we'll know now what can be the next watering process. That will be revealed to us. That will be guided by our superiors. But prematurely, those who do these things of such watering process, unfortunately, they are the ones who get deviated. Yes. Just imagine, by hearing the intimate pastimes of the Lordships, if someone is getting more sexual urges, मतलब जिसके लिए हम भक्ति में आए to get purified, and in the process your anarthas are increasing. You can imagine how deadly this entire combination is. Therefore, very beautifully it is described by the Acharyas that understand your adhikar and then do the right watering process. So this is the second thing. The Mali has received the seeds and now is watering the seeds, and those seeds are growing. Now what happens when the Bhakti Lata beach grows properly? Very beautifully it is described. Upajiya bade lata brahmanda bhedi jai viraja brahma loka bhedi parama vyoma pai. So this Bhakti Lata now has started growing. If the watering is proper, it will grow properly. This is the only thing that the gardener has to take care. Water. Properly water, the Bhakti Lata will start growing. And this Bhakti Lata will grow and grow and grow. And it's not like some ordinary creeper of this material world. It's a very strong creeper. To an extent that it grows and it pierces the material realm, it crosses beyond that. It gets into Brahma Jyoti. It goes beyond. It goes to Vaikuntha. Can you imagine how strong this Bhakti Lata is? It is growing. Such things I had seen in my childhood in some cartoons. and the cartoon goes up and down. Then I'm realizing now, so actual mein hai. No, it's all borrowed from here and cartoons are made out of it. And now when people watch those cartoons and become a cartoon, then hear this, then they say, oh, this is all mythology. And no, it's proper. Problem is you have become a cartoon, that's the problem. So just imagine how strong. And this Bhakti Lata will not stop at Vaikuntha, it goes up, and it reaches Goloka Vrindavan. Paravyoma, it reaches the spiritual abodes. And the highest spiritual abode is Goloka Vrindavan. Now, obviously there are deep meanings to this, no doubt. At our level we'll discuss whatever we can understand. First and foremost, this Bhakti Lata cannot take shelter of anything material. It's a transcendental creeper, therefore it has the power to penetrate. So it will not take shelter of anything material. What does that mean? Prabhupada writes that devotional service cannot be utilized for any material purpose. Specifically, he says, when people say there are many types of bhakti available in this world, what are the different types of bhakti that you have heard about? Yes? Okay. Different types of bhakti that you have heard about? No, don't get into Gaudiya Vaishnava terminologies. I'm saying day-to-day society, when people speak, I have this bhakti, I have that bhakti. I've not heard it. Prabhupada writes, he writes about Desh Bhakti. One like that, Desh Bhakti. Then he says Devta Bhakti. And so on. And you'll hear many more. Patni Bhakti, Pati Bhakti, and Bacche, Saath mein, etc., etc., etc. So, one point which is made here very clearly by the Acharya is that devotional service can be rendered only to Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The word bhakti is only for Krishna, not for anything else. If that bhakti is associated with anything material, it means like bhakti is taking shelter of this material thing. And here it's not allowed, it's not valid. This bhakti cannot take shelter of anything material. Therefore, it is described here very clearly. Devotional service is especially meant for Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is beyond this material range. Now this Bhakti Lata creeper, it keeps growing. That's what we spoke. What does it mean, keeps growing? The person advances in Bhakti. He keeps advancing in Bhakti. He keeps advancing in Bhakti and his realizations goes higher and higher and higher. He goes beyond, his realizations go beyond the material world, beyond Brahma Jyoti, beyond the Vaikuntha planets, and finally, Goloka Vrindavan. That's the realization of this devotee. And finally, when the realization reaches up to Goloka Vrindavan, what is the ultimate realization? Tape jai tadupari Goloka Vrindavan Krishna Charana Kalpa Vrakshe Kare Arohan. So finally this creeper, see a creeper needs a tree. How will it sustain all this? But this creeper is very special. Itna grow hone ke baad it finds a tree. And that tree is not an ordinary tree. That tree is Kalpa Vriksha, desire tree. And what is that desire tree? Krishna Charan, the lotus feet of Krishna. So finally the topmost realization is realization of Bhagavan. And in that, serving the Lord in one of the 5 rasas. I should be more specific. One of the 4 higher rasas. And for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, one of the 3 higher rasas. And some Gaudiyas are very particular. There is no, the first 2 only. And some are more, only first. So we have these different ranges of discussions that devotees have. But it is a fact. So what is the topmost realization that a devotee can have? The realization, what is his relationship with Krishna? That's the topmost realization. That's called as revelation of one's swarupa, one's constitutional position. What is the relationship with Krishna? Many times people say that you have to do bhakti with love. Kaise karte bhakti with love? Whenever some devotees speak that we should do bhakti with love, I always scratch my head. How? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Because you attain love after some time in Krishna consciousness. sometime after a long time. You attain love after a long time in Krishna consciousness. How do you do bhakti with love? Yes. Initially, the bhakti can be done only with nishtha. So, doing bhakti with nishtha is the right thing to say. Doing bhakti with love, that will happen when the Bhakti Lata Kripa reaches and finally attains the shade of Kalpavriksha. That is Krishna Charan, lotus feet of Krishna. When he realizes his constitutional position, then the actual love manifests. After the Shravan camp, I asked one devotee, so what's your realization? He said, I realized that there's nothing in this world that I'm supposed to aspire for except love for Krishna. I said, you stop loving any girl, naturally you'll attain love for Krishna. And that's a fact. You stop loving any sense object of this world and you positively cultivate Krishna consciousness. The thing that you will attain is love for Krishna. But our problem here is that with love for Krishna, I want love for other things of this material world. It will not work. It will not work. Not possible at all. Therefore, then the Kripa reaches the lotus feet of the Lord, and there the devotee, he realizes his constitutional position. Because at the stage of Prema, Krishna Prema, from Shraddha to Prema, when he reaches Prema, there he realizes what is his relationship with Krishna. And he's fully satisfied in that relationship. Fully satisfied. Sometimes devotees ask, is there any scope of a Dasya Bhakta to become a Madhurya Bhakta? That's what thought process, is there any scope? That scope of the thought process to think about that scope is there only here in this material world. We are so dissatisfied and we keep switching from one to the next to the next. We have that thought process, maybe in spiritual world that might happen. Because the initial goal of some devotees is somehow reach somewhere beyond the material world. From there we will see what to do later. Some devotees have this, जैसे तैसे पहुंच जाए हम गोलोक वृंदावन, शांत दास्य doesn't matter. अभी तो इतने अशांत है, at least some some shanti in life. From there, we will see. Then suddenly they get the question, but is there any scope, to go from shanta to dasya to things like that? So actually, the devotee becomes so satisfied at the lotus feet of Krishna in any relationship, he does not aspire for higher. He does not. And Golok Vrindavan mein koi preaching nahi hota. But some devotee will come and preach, hey, Shanta, come, Madhurya. It's not that some gopis going and telling some sakha that useless fellow. Look at our relationship with Krishna. We are so intimate with Krishna. You people, you have such intimacy, but it's not great intimacy. And then the gopi is preaching how to become a gopi to a sakha. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Sakha is very happy. Sakhi is very happy. The cows are very happy. The trees are very happy. The ponds are very happy. And even the grass in Vrindavan is very happy. And devotee was very tensed. What if I become a grass in Goloka Vrindavan? Uddhav is aspiring to become grass in Goloka Vrindavan. What is your problem? You're so tense. What is your problem? Therefore, one thing that we understand very clearly is when the devotee advances, when his Bhakti Lata Kripa grows and finally reaches the lotus feet of the Lord, that is, he attains Krishna Prema. When he realizes his constitutional position, he is fully satisfied. He is fully satisfied. Now what happens? So now when the devotee reaches Goloka Vrindavan, what does that mean? मतलब यहाँ से वहाँ transfer हो गया. Actually, the devotee is still here, but his realization has already gone there, that level. So what will the devotee do now here in this material world? Taha vistaritahaya phale prema phal iha mali seche nitya shravana dijan. So the Kripa has already gone to Goloka Vrindavan. He has already realized his relationship with Krishna. He attained Krishna Prema. But even then, here in the material world, he continues watering the Bhakti Lata Kripa. He continues doing Shravan Kirtan. So, aisa kabhi nahi hoga where the devotee says that I have become so exalted, I don't need Shravan Kirtan. Aisa kuch nahi hoga. Even if you reach the highest realization, the person has to continue doing Shravan Kirtan. On and on and on. The watering process goes on and on and on. Yes. Because sometimes when we come to Krishna consciousness in the initial days, we're very sincere in doing certain things. And then when we spend some years, then we start thinking, these are for newcomers, not for me. You let newcomers do all this. They're jumping like monkeys here and there, newcomers. I have to do dhyan now, dhyan on Radha Krishna. Useless. Same thing we're supposed to do. What we started doing in the initial days, same thing we have to keep doing on and on and on. Yes. Right from the time when we started Krishna consciousness, we learned various wonderful things in Krishna consciousness. Tell me some of it. Chant, sitting at one place. You'll see the new devotees when they come, they sit at one place and chant. Then they open their eyes and see the elderly devotees roaming around everywhere, looking here and there chanting, looking at the door and chanting, looking at the wall and chanting. I sometimes wonder what the new devotees think. They are thinking maybe he's seeing Krishna there. Maybe he's searching for Krishna. No, literally this is seen. That as a newcomer, when you come, you learn the right things because the preacher will teach you the right things. As the person grows, he starts feeling it's not for me, it's only for newcomers. And he starts doing whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. And again, the preacher has to beat that devotee, get him down, pull him down, and thrash him. This is what he's supposed to do again. What else we learn? In Krishna consciousness? I come from Mangala. I think all of you come from Mangala. Because that's one of the things that has to be done. It doesn't matter if you're a newcomer or whatever. But the newcomers are very eager to come for Mangalarati. Devotees come because someone will catch them if they don't come. And then beat them left and right. So you see the mood changes. Newcomer is eager to come for Mangalarati because he feels there's a different experience. But a devotee who has spent some time, for him the Mangalarati is just a way to give attendance. It's not proper. Then when it comes to reading and hearing, a newcomer is very eager to explore more and more. And a devotee लाया वही चीज लेगा सब कुछ. ये classes में कुछ अलग चीज नहीं होता है. वही चीज बोलते रहते हैं. Talking Krishna prem पता नहीं कभी मिलेगा. What is all that? Forget it. Many times, and I've seen some devotees. At least with you all, it doesn't happen. We're a little strict, with IYF devotees. But I've seen our congregation devotees at times. Classes going on here, roaming up, down, going down, coming here, going there. And when I ask them, oh, your class is going, oh, वही बोलते हैं Prabhuji, it's okay. I'll ask the summary what happened in the class. You learn initially something and then later you don't want to follow. And the worst part to take place is to think that I've already reached certain level and I need not chant my 16 rounds. Need not chant on beats. I know some devotees who think like that. According to them, they say that continuously chanting होना चाहिए. सांस में मंत्र चलना चाहिए. What does that mean? That's good. That's the expected thing. Because कभी सांस रुक जाए पता नहीं. That's a fact. That's true. But then the thing that now there is no need to chant on beats. There's no need to chant the minimum 16 rounds. All this concoction, always remember, even if the devotee attains the highest realization, he continues doing the same things that he has learned in Krishna consciousness. That's the amazing aspect of Krishna consciousness. Things will not change. These will remain the same, only the realization will keep changing. That's what we see here very clearly. The fruit of devotional creeper is the pure desire to serve and please the senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is the fruit of this devotional creeper? It's Krishna Prem. What is that Krishna Prem all about? Prabhupada is saying here, the pure desire to serve. Now, और कुछ desire है ही नहीं जीवन में. It's just, I just want to serve Krishna, nothing else. I just want to serve Krishna. How many of you have come to this platform? I want to just serve Krishna. एक दिन. We have so many other desires. I want to serve this person also. I want to serve my senses also. I want to serve my mind also. And let others serve me. Can you imagine? So the difference between a sadhaka and a siddha is, a siddha, a perfected being who has attained Krishna prema, has only one desire. Pure desire. without any material tinge. I just want to serve Krishna. So this is the platform where we want to reach. That's called perfection of life. I just want to serve Krishna. If all of us will have to comprehend, contemplate on this point, that currently, apart from serving Krishna, what are my other desires? Can I eliminate that one by one? Is it possible? Can I make it as minimum as possible, the other desires? And can I maximize this desire of mine to serve Krishna? This is something that a serious devotee should contemplate, self-introspect. That will surely help, because finally the goal is to serve Krishna. ऐसे नहीं कि एक दिन अचानक से there will be some light from within will come and suddenly your desires will change. It's not like that. We're supposed to cultivate these desires. It's cultivation. And that cultivation becomes more faster when we receive the mercy of Guru and Krishna. It becomes more faster. Their mercy acts as a catalyst for all of us. Yes. This is the thing that Prabhupada writes. The fruit of devotional creeper is the pure desire to serve. With what mood? To please the senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In one line, Prabhupada is making a wonderful statement. A statement for a devotee's entire life. What should be the mood? To please the senses of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Desire to that I want to serve Krishna, but then I might be doing it because I might be getting some pleasure out of it. But no, here is about giving pleasure to Krishna. I will serve Krishna to give pleasure to Krishna. This is the mode of a devotee who has reached the stage of prema. And whatever we are supposed to do at the stage of prema, that has to be practiced right from the stage of Shraddha. Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana, kriya, anartha, nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava. In all stages, we need to practice this, what we are supposed to do at the stage of prema. That is, cultivating the pure desire to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. Simple, huh? Not very difficult. It's doable. It's not something that is very impossible, but it's doable. Yes. Prabhupada writes, it is not that at a certain stage one can stop chanting and hearing and become a mature devotee. If one stops, one certainly falls down from devotional service. How's that? Because a person who has reached that stage will not stop. Because he is addicted, happily addicted to Krishna consciousness. The one who has not reached that stage, बीच में कहीं उसका creeper है. Can you imagine? बीच में कहीं लटका हुआ है. And he stops doing Shravan Kirtan. What will happen? The creeper is like this. Slowly the creeper will go like this down. The creeper will dry up. The person will go out of devotional service. That's what Prabhupada is writing. If one stops, one certainly falls down from devotional service. Although one may be very much exalted in devotional service, if you think that you are very much exalted in devotional service, he should not give up the watering process of Shravan Kirtan. When does Shravan Kirtan stop? What is that scenario in our life when Shravan Kirtan will stop? When? Okay, when we think about material things. Material exposure. When all these things becomes more. There's only one word, very favorite of ours, offense. Only one word, offense. And Prabhupada says, if one gives up that process, it is due to an offense. Now, after having spoken about Bhaktilata reaching, or Bhaktilata people reaching the lotus feet of Krishna, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about कि वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए बहुत टाइम है. यहाँ watering के साथ साथ और क्या करना है? What am I supposed to do along with watering the seed of Bhaktilata? यदि वैष्णव अपराध उठे हाथी माता उपाड़े व छिंदे तार सुखी जाए पाता. Bengali is very sweet language. And यदि वैष्णव अपराध उठे हाथी माता. When the person commits an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, when you commit an offense onto a devotee, what happens? Upade. The first thing that takes place is, oh, by the way, this offense is compared to elephant. Not just elephant. What sort of elephant? Mad elephant. Have you all seen mad elephant? Anytime? Some videos at least? Really mad and very horrifying. Very horrifying. They are breaking they're taking a car and taking up and throwing it down, taking a person and throwing him down, killing the person. Oh, they can do anything. They can break anything. And just imagine we're talking about a creeper. Is it a very big thing for an elephant to uproot a creeper? Yes. Very, very simple job. Very, very simple job. So this elephant, who is mad, is searching for this creeper. He does not want the tree. He's searching for this creeper. He takes the creeper. First thing that he does is upade. He just uproots that. अभी खुश नहीं है uproot करने का. He's not happy just with that. Because he uproots and then he throws it. You never know, again it might grow. So he uproots it. Chinde. He breaks that. My God, this is like horrible. I was thinking maybe the elephant only uproots and throws it. But he uproots and then he breaks it. I mean, I don't think elephant will take, it will take much endeavor to break it. It will uproot and break it. And now what happens is, Shukhi Jai Pata. So the creeper now, just imagine, broken through. What will happen? All the leaves, जो भी थोड़ा बहुत grow हुआ था, all that will get dried up. This is what takes place. Let's analyze this now more deeply. First and foremost, a devotee grows in Krishna consciousness in the association of serious devotees. One who is actually serious about advancing in devotional service should desire only to satisfy the previous acharyas. So whenever we talk about devotees, the first thing that should come to our mind is the acharyas. For us, if at all we want to advance in bhakti, our goal should be to please these personalities in the altar. All of them are glorious. Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur, Gaur Kishodas Baji Maharaj, and on and on and on, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. All of them. So all of us as sincere sadhakas, or aspiring sincere sadhakas, the thing that we have to do is, what Prabhupada is recommending for all of us is, having a sincere desire to satisfy these acharyas. See, Krishna consciousness, one thing that every devotee should do is, live your life for someone else. We don't live our life for ourselves in Krishna consciousness. We live our life for someone else, to please someone else. If we are living our life to please ourselves, बहुत मजा आ रहा है भक्ति करने में, और करेंगे मजा. We cannot do maza for a long time in Krishna consciousness if you are selfish. But if your mood is to please someone, then your bhakti can continue because you are doing it for the pleasure of someone. And here it is very clearly told by Prabhupada. The first thing that he writes is acharyas. Previous acharyas. We should have only one desire, satisfy the previous acharyas. So we are living our life for them. See, whenever we live our life for someone else, one thing that takes place is, whenever we are doing some activity, a thought will come. उनको कैसा लगेगा? What will they feel? Immediately the thought will come. Immediately. One of my counselors was confessing to me that he was getting some sinful desire and he was about to act on it. And immediately I thought, कि आपको कैसे लगेगा? And I stopped doing it. And I told him, अगर तूने वो किया होता, I would have never thought, तुझे कैसे लगेगा? Actually, one thing is very clear. I have also seen in my own life that whenever we're living our life for our superiors, immediately that thought comes. Whenever we're doing something wrong, and you know internally it's wrong, but still impelled to do it, but immediately we get that thought. No, he will not be pleased. Forget about he's chastising me and beating. That's different. That is some a gift that I'm getting separately. But the fact that he will be sad just by that particular activity, then the devotee thing may come. It's a great treasure, by the way, in a devotee's life. If you at all are living your life like that, it's a great treasure, let me tell you. Because such a devotee will keep advancing only. Because he is under the right shelter. He'll keep advancing. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Satisfying superiors. One should always think of oneself as servant of the acharyas. And thinking this, one should live in the society of Vaishnavas. So what is our identity when we are here? Das, Das, Anudas. Insignificant servant of all these servants in the Parampara. That's our identity. So Prabhupada is saying that live in the society with this mode, that I am servant of the servant of the servant. However, if one thinks that he has become very mature and can live separate from the association of Vaishnavas, and thus gives up the regulative principles due to offending a Vaishnava, one's position becomes very dangerous. First thing that will take place is one will go out of devotee association. And the next thing that will take place is he'll feel very happy about it. अभी अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा. He'll be very satisfied, very happy. There's no one around to taunt. There's no one around to point at me. There's no one to correct me. There's one bathroom and I'm the only person to use the bathroom. Only base devotees can resonate with this. Literally, there are people like that who feel happy. I know some people, unfortunately, who exited the association of devotees in the congregation. They start feeling happy. मेरा 2 घंटा बच रहा है अभी हर दिन. I was wasting my 2 hours. Now I'm able to enjoy those 2 hours also. Can you imagine? Offense can take the person to hide very things. The 2 hours of chanting was waste of time. Very deadly, very deadly. Whenever I hear all these case studies, I get goosebumps. कि कुछ भी हो सकता है. मतलब thought process ऐसा change हो जाए. The basic activity of chanting, you start feeling time waste. Oh my God, horrible. Giving up the regulative principles and living according to one's whims is compared to a mad elephant. So this is that mad elephant that we're talking about. It's not that you commit an offense and suddenly some mad elephant comes into picture. No. Mad elephant is here only within. We are those mad people. So these things will take place. We'll give up the regulative principles, and second, we'll start living the way we want to live. My life, my way. I live the way I want. I'll not hear any authority. And the person will feel happy about it initially, and he'll not understand the Bhakti Lata is getting uprooted, and it is broken and gone. And Shukhi Jai Pata, all the patta, all the leaves, will get dried up. And he'll not realize that also. Very dangerous situation, very dangerous. Such an offense is especially created when one disobeys the instruction of the spiritual master. When we talk about Vaishnavas, always remember, in that, the Vaishnava at the higher rung for us is the spiritual master. Spiritual master gives instructions. And when you disobey the instruction of the spiritual master, that's the greatest offense. And that is called as Guru Avagya. When this takes place, then it's a problem. By the way, the instruction of the spiritual master should be in the realm of Krishna consciousness. It shouldn't happen that Guru Maharaj, you have given some instruction and not able to implement. And what is the instruction of Guru Maharaj? It's tending towards breaking the 4 relative principle. If that is the case, then that's not a bona fide instruction, for sure. And in our organization, in ISKCON, the instruction of the Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru should be in line with that of Srila Prabhupada. Yes. It cannot be something different. Something different, it's not a bona fide instruction anymore for us. There's no need to follow. We can respectfully ignore. We can do that. For that, we should know what Prabhupada's instructions are. Then we can. पता चला जो bona fide instruction है उसको भी ignore कर दिया. तो बचा क्यों मेरे जीवन में? Therefore, this point is very important. Sometimes people who go very fanatic about instruction of spiritual master, and if it's not bona fide, then he is ruined. Therefore, the sadhaka's personal Shravan Kirtan is very important. His personal study of Prabhupada's books, his lectures is very, very important. If you are not doing that, then how will we understand what is bona fide and what is not? Very difficult, very, very difficult. As soon as one gets deviated from the instruction of spiritual master, the uprooting of Bhakti Lata begins and gradually all leaves dry up. So this is the dangerous situation that can take place because of Guru Avagya, offense to the spiritual master. So what a devotee should do? Because Rupa Goswami might ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, तो भी करे तो क्या करें? What am I supposed to do? How can I protect my Bhakti Lata beach? अभी बस एक ही पत्ता है उसके अंदर से. Only it has grown this much only. Can you imagine? The Bhakti Lata has grown this much and mad elephant comes and it crushes it. पत्ता ही नहीं सूखने के लिए. One has to be very careful. So what am I supposed to do? Say Rupa Goswami is asking this question to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Tate mali jatara kari kare avaran aparad hasti rajai che nahai udgam. What should a gardener do? He should do avaran. He should create an avaran, or he should put fence around the Bhakti Lata beach. Create a fence around, so that the elephant of offenses cannot enter. अभी सोचिए आपका फेंस कितना स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए. Just imagine, there is a fence and there is an elephant that comes, and that elephant wants to break the fence and go and destroy the Bhakti Lata, or any Lata for that matter. So you can imagine, if you want to protect the Lata, the creeper, how strong this has to be. We had gone to Gokul Dham. They also have fence. They have created this concrete walls. So we asked the devotee that, okay, this is created so that the leopards around, they don't enter this place. So the devotee was telling that leopards and the other carnivorous animals, they look at this fence and they clap and they laugh. What fence is this? They laugh and they very happily come across this fence for their Mahaprasad. अभी fence तो ऐसा तो नहीं होना चाहिए that your fence is this much and the elephant just goes above that. Your fence has to be really tall. Your fence has to be really strong. Now, how strong the fence should be? How to make this fence? Prabhupada says 2 points he mentions. Following the regulative principles, point 1, and point 2, associating with pure devotees. These are the 2 points mentioned. Following the regulative principles. So we have the regulative principles of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Adi, and we have the regulative principles of don'ts. So we have do's and we have don'ts, both are there. So this has to be taken care very nicely. Follow the regulative principles and associate with pure devotees. Association of pure devotees or aspiring pure devotees is a great benediction in the life of a devotee. Especially all of you, you are very fortunate. You have the opportunity to stay with the devotees in a setup like base. You can stay in the base with devotees. I don't know, those devotees are aspiring for marriage. So after marriage, will you get a devotee wife or no? That's a question again. But at least to get trained in the association of devotees, to stay in the base is very important. And the person who's getting married, that person has to make sure that if people are not devotees, make them devotees. Convert them into devotees. Because finally, association with pure devotees is what is the fence. So 2 points are mentioned. One is something that we can do. Both the things we can do. That is, regulative principles strictly followed and associate with pure devotees. And when we associate with pure devotees, naturally we'll stay protected. And we can choose this association. This point is very important. Therefore, always recommend those who have option. Stay in the devotee association, in the base. Stay in the base. You cannot, because you're getting married. Okay, marry a devotee girl. You don't have any desire for marriage, no problem. Be a brahmachari throughout life. Stay in the association of brahmacharis, in the brahmachari ashram. Is there an option, Prabhuji, that I can be a brahmachari outside brahmachari ashram and not get married? Sorry. That is like Bhakti Lata beach open. And there is a board that is written there. Elephants can come. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Either you are in the brahmachari ashram or you are in the grihastha ashram. You are married. Only 2 options. Yes. So if someone is planning to marry, that person should marry a devotee girl. And for devotee girls, devotee boys, or something like that. Yes. When one associates with non-devotees, then this madness begins. When one associates with non-devotees, the maddened elephant is set loose. So association with non-devotees is the key, where everything begins from there. The human being is a social animal, and if one gives up the society of pure devotees, he must associate with non-devotees. And it's a fact. If you don't associate with the devotees, then surely you will associate with non-devotees. And so-called mature devotee will fall victim to the mad elephant offense. Even if one thinks that there are many, this point is a very amazing point given by Prabhupada. Even if one thinks that there are many pseudo-devotees or non-devotees in Krishna consciousness society, in ISKCON, there are many people who might say there are no pure devotees in ISKCON. I have heard this personally. There are no pure devotees in ISKCON. Prabhupada is still saying, he's saying, it's an instruction by the way. Still one should stick to the society. Stick. There's no question of giving up. Stick to the society. If one thinks the society's members are not pure devotees, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. And if there is any doubt, one should consult the spiritual master. If you really have that problem, you have that contamination in your head that there's no pure devotee, then find one and directly associate with that devotee in the society, in ISKCON. However, unless one follows the spiritual master's instructions concerning the regulative principles and chanting and hearing the holy name of Lord, one cannot become a pure devotee. And that's a fact. If you ask this question, how to become a pure devotee? By following the regulative principles as directed by the spiritual master, by the parampara basically. Because Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, they're not going to repeat some new, they're not going to manufacture something new. They just want to repeat what the parampara has given. So this is the fence. So this fence has to be really strong. Strictly following the regulative principles, do's and don'ts both. And the second thing is being in the association of pure devotees. Come what may, one has to be in the association of devotees. Come what may. And mind will trick. Mind will say, no, for some time we can stay outside, we can stay here, we can stay there. Very, very dangerous position. Very dangerous position. Therefore, this is the second point that has to be noted. Regulative principles and staying with pure devotees or aspiring pure devotees. Yes. Now, not just this, fence to laga diya. Just imagine you have a fence and you're watering. But you all remember, it was not one seed that we got. We got many seeds. So, abhi fence ke andar, those many seeds are there and you're watering. And guess what? All those seeds are growing. And the best part is, all the creepers are looking same. I remember in my childhood when I used to go to my grandmother's place, second standard, third standard, there would be a good number of people who would be hired just to remove those unwanted creepers. I used to always wonder, इतने लोग सिर्फ झाड़ निकालने के लिए आए, पौधा निकालने के लिए. They would explain, no, this is very important. You're supposed to remove all these creepers. And at that time, my grandmother was explaining me that if you don't remove these creepers, if you don't remove these unwanted plants, they will suck in all the manure and they will drink all the water. Then your actual plant will not be able to grow. Can you imagine? You have a strong fence and in that you're watering and all the other creepers are growing. And Bhakti Lata is this much only still. It is not grown. And you're wondering, Prabhuji, Master, I'm watering. Every day I'm watering. What's the problem? Problem is, all these creepers are grown. Yes. Other creepers are grown. And which are these creepers? Very beautifully it is described. Kintu jadi latar sange uthe upashakha bhukti mukti vacha jata asankhya tar lekha. Bhukti, mukti, vancha. So two types of seeds we discussed, no? Apart from Bhakti Lata seed. What was that? Karma beach and Jnana beach. And all that seeds, we are very fortunate. So many people are sowing those seeds for us. सिर्फ देते नहीं, और लोग sow भी कर देते. They sow it in our heart. The seeds of material enjoyment and the seeds of liberation. Those desires are sowed in our heart. And how many are they? How many seeds? What is given here? Asankhya. एक है सीड, वो उसको कहते हैं भक्ति लता सीड, भक्ति लता बीज. And we have asankhya seeds, others. My God, it's such a dangerous position, you see, such a dangerous situation, such a dangerous situation. And a devotee always keeps scratching, पानी कहाँ जा रहा है? Where is the water going? Sometimes the devotees ask also, Prabhuji, इतना क्लास में सुनता हूँ, इतना क्लास सुनता हूँ, इतना प्रसाद खाता हूँ, जा कहाँ रहा है सब? Where is it going? Why there is no advancement? Asankhya shakhas, or not asankhya upashakhas are there. What to do? Now the question might come, can you please elaborate more in the upashakhas? So that I can be aware of these different things I can analyze in my life. Because finally the thing that I'm supposed to do is, fence to banana hai, uske saath saath. See, I'm a transcendental gardener. I'm supposed to uproot these upashakhas. Nikalna padega wo sab. If I don't remove these unwanted creepers, then in the fence, very nicely protected, Bhakti Lata is going to die. I'm supposed to uproot these creepers. So what are these? Kintu, okay. Nishiddhachara Kutinati Jiva Himpasana Labha Puja Pratishtadi Jata Upashakha Gana. So what are these upashakhas? The first thing is Nishiddhachar. Nishiddhachar means engaging in forbidden activities. Pata hai nahi karna hai. We're not supposed to do that, but still I will do. Tell me some activities quickly. Breaking four relative principles. Meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. Jaan bujhke the person is doing that. Even one of it is enough. That is upashakha here. Any other thing you want to say? Eating something which is not prasad. Pata hai aise prasadi grahan karna hai. Pata hai. But still, the person wants to eat something else because the boneless muscle in the mouth is craving for something else. Very important, only prasad. And so many other things which you all can understand it yourself. Kutinati, diplomatic behavior. We are trained so nicely in the office. And then you come to devotee association. And same Kutinati business goes on here also. Always remember, if you are diplomatic, even in the association of devotees, especially with your mentor, you're gone. Because you are here to improve. You are not here to prove yourself. In the office you prove, you don't want to improve. You want to prove and improve this. Yes. But here you want to improve. Improve your character, improve your devotional service. But क्या करें? वो contamination लेके आते हैं हम लोग association of devotees में. And here also we do the same thing. So our devotee has to be very, very careful about this point. If we treat people diplomatically or dupliciously, our spiritual advancement is obstructed. Therefore, devotees have to be straightforward and simple. ज़्यादा शाना नहीं बनना है devotee association. That's the point that was made here. One has to be simple and straightforward, and be in the mood to advance in bhakti, and not prove oneself to be a great devotee. We are not here to prove ourselves to be a great devotee. We want to actually become a great devotee. We want to become a nice devotee. That's our goal. La Jiva Himsa. Jiva Himsa means harming some other living entities. And Prabhupada also writes a point. To educate others in self gratification, that is Jiva Himsa. So if someone is educating others how to do better self gratification, that's Jiva Himsa. If you are telling your friend in the association of devotees, Prabhu, aise nahi, aise karo, aur maza aayega. That's called Jiva Himsa. I can elaborate on all these points. I wanted to, but we don't have much time. And I wanted to speak for 1 hour on this also. So many things, because finally the Upashakhas matters a lot in a devotee's life. Pata to chale kya hai wo? If you don't know what it is, how will you uproot it? Yes. Jiva Himsa. And also troubling any devotee, troubling any living entity is Jiva Himsa. So I don't think we need to elaborate on this point. Labha, puja and pratishtha. Labha means greed for material gain. Profit in devotional service. So expecting some material profit even in devotee association. कितना क्या करेंगे उसको लेके? इतना profit लेके क्या करेंगे? What you will do with those material things, material gifts? What you will do with it? Puja. That is worship. Honor. I want to be honored in the association of devotees. Even small kids, I mean the toddlers in Krishna consciousness, they also want to have puja. They want to be honored. It's very deadly, very deadly. Pratishtha, desire for name, fame, recognition, basically position and prestige in the association of devotees. See, we are so much trained in the outside world to do all this. Naturally, when we come in the association of devotees, we expect all this in the association of devotees also. What are we doing in the office, corporate profession? We want some profit. We want respect. We want some position, etc., etc. As soon as we come here, that same contamination also we get with ourselves. And we don't think, I've come here to attain something permanent. Whereas these three, puja, la, pratishtha, all of them, I cannot carry to the next life. It's temporary. I have to leave it here only. Just imagine, in the association of devotees, you are called a very senior devotee. Say, you are called a very senior devotee. And guess what? The senior devotee didn't go back home back to Godhead. And he takes birth again. Say in the association of devotees. So जैसे ही बच्चा पैदा हो तो क्या बोलेंगे? वो senior devotee. And everyone will know that, oh, he's senior. Look at the symptoms. In past life, looks like he did 16 rounds every single day, he attended Mangal Aarti, and he was going around getting puja la pratishtha, is this and that. Is that going to happen? वो बच्चा ही रहेगा और माँ पिटाई करेगी उसकी. And his mentor will teach him how to chant on beads. Yes. And again, he has to do the same thing. But what's the point? You know, if a person is hankering so much for puja la pratishtha, by the way, I'm reminding myself, I'm sure you all might be pure with respect to this. What will I do with it? That's the question that we need to ask. And trust me, those devotees who are free from this desire, obviously we cannot be free from this desire. But if it is bare minimum, that's not the only goal of your devotional life. And it's bare minimum. Those devotees will be very happy, peaceful, very lovable for other devotees also. They will act as very strong instruments in Krishna consciousness. Krishna will do miracles using them. You know, if these three are not there. Very important. Prabhupada writes, sometimes these unwanted creepers look exactly like the bhakti creeper. पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि difference क्या है. But sometimes the devotee might feel that, see, I'm senior and I'm supposed to be honored as senior. What's wrong in that? It's almost like saying that there's no difference between this anga of bhakti and my desire. Yes, my desire to advance in bhakti is synonymous to getting a position in the devotee association. How's that? It looks same. It looks same. Yes. And when it looks same, how will I uproot this unwanted creeper? Therefore, Prabhupada writes, a pure devotee can distinguish between the bhakti creeper and the mundane creeper, and he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. I don't know why Prabhupada is not writing uproot them. You know why? It's difficult. At least initially separate रखो उसको. पानी मत दो. Side में रखो उसको. हटाओ. Make the fence in such a way that only Bhakti Lata is there in your fence. Let your other creepers be out. And with time, as we gain more strength, uproot it and throw it off. Very important. Very important. And very beautifully, Mahaprabhu is saying, Seka jala paya upashakha badi jai, sthabda hai mula shakha badite na pai. If one is not able to distinguish between these, the actual creeper and the upashakhas, what's going to happen? The other creepers will get nourished and the bhakti creeper will get curtailed. He will not be able to advance. If one chants the Hare Krishna mantra while committing offenses, these unwanted creepers will grow. So I was shocked that I am doing Shravan Kirtan and how these unwanted creepers are growing. Bhakti Lata should grow. But when Shravan Kirtan is done with offenses, then these creepers will grow. But if Shravan Kirtan is done without offenses, these creepers cannot grow. Not possible. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives a huge list of Upashaka. I'll just read it out, I'll not explain. First one, material attachment to sense gratification. Even after coming to Bhakti, you are attached to sense gratification. Desire for liberation, which we have discussed. Desire for Siddhi. We want to become someone great in the association of devotees. Association with illicit sex. Pseudo devotional show, becoming a prakrita sahajiya, trying to imitate advanced devotees. Even imitating advanced devotees is also upashaka. Caste conscious. ये डिवोटी ब्राह्मण परिवार से है क्या? नहीं, शूद्र परिवार. हाँ तो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Becoming a pseudo guru, not qualified to become a spiritual master, but still accepting the role of the spiritual master for personal gain. This is the point. In future, many of you might also take the role of guru. So only if you are qualified, you will accept. How many of you will take the role of guru? Tell me later personally. Attachment to the sinful activities. Professional devotionalism. Be aware of this. It's not that you give up your material profession, you come here and start using your chanting, reading, hearing as a profession to gain some money. If you give me this much dakshina, then only I'll come to your place for kirtan. Recently, one person called me and they asked, "We have a newborn baby in our house, we want to do samskara. Can someone come for Shravan Kirtan?" I said, "Yes, we'll come." Kitna lagega? How much you will charge? And in future, it might be possible. Some people might take it as a profession. Many people outside ISKCON, they're taking it as a profession. But many in ISKCON in future might also start taking it as a profession. Therefore, it's listed very clearly. And one may try increasing his monetary strength by illegal means in devotee association. My God, that's another dangerous thing. Chanting in seclusion for adoration. Sare devotees बैठे यहाँ and I go separately in my bhajan kutir and then I put a cloth on my face and I'm chanting. Yes. And when that chanting turns into samadhi, you will not know also. Yes. So please make sure that we don't get into all this. Desire for mundane reputation is very important. See, look at our acharyas, they have all this understanding before only. Making philosophical or practical compromises with non-devotees for social standing. मतलब philosophy को compromise करके बताना, just so that you get some position in the non-devotee circle also. That's the problem. This is for all the preachers, by the way. It's upashaka. And cheating others by a show of spirituality. मतलब आता जाता कुछ नहीं है, realizations कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन दिखा रहे कि I'm very great devotee. तिलक देख लो मेरा. And finally, if the devotee is successful in removing these creepers, it's described. प्रथमे उपशाखार करे छेदन, तबे मूल शाखा बड़ी जाए वृंदावन. So if someone who is intelligent devotee, if he sees the unwanted creeper growing, and he understands this by self-introspection, and he cuts it down instantly. Firstly, he keeps it aside, and then he cuts it down. What happens? The Bhakti Lata, Tabe Mola Shakha Bade Jai Vrindavan. Then the Mola Shakha will grow. Bhakti Lata will grow and grow and grow. And finally, where will it reach? Golok Vrindavan. At the lotus feet of Krishna, that is, he'll realize his original constitutional position. He'll attain Krishna Prema. So in this way, we get one seed and we're supposed to grow that seed by watering, by fencing, and by removing unwanted people. So when it comes to watering, it means Shravan Kirtan. Fencing, following regulative principles and association of pure devotees. And third, that is removing the unwanted creeper means self-introspection and uprooting these unwanted creepers. With this, surely by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we will attain the ultimate goal of life, and that is Krishna Prema. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay, any questions you want to ask? I'm not very satisfied speaking of Upashaka. I want to speak more.
evening we have another.
What is that?
We'll give him another class.
Yes, thanks for wonderful. Prabhuji, what does sowing the seed Bhakti Lata means? Like you told about watering it, but Guru
I
also
spoke about that also. Guru will give the seed, you sow the seed. Means you embrace that seed. You embrace the instruction of the Guru. You follow the instruction of the Guru. That's what it means.
Thank you for this. So, how can we understand the difference between keeping the Upshaka away from the main Bhakti Raja and uprooting it? Like how to understand the difference?
Not giving importance to that, not doing it. And uprooting is just forgetting about it, never think about it. Now it is there in my life, but I don't give importance to it. But if a devotee can instantly uproot, that's the best. Instantly remove it from your life and throw it away. That's the best.
Elaborate a bit on offenses.
How devotees commit offenses?
What kind of?
Oh, those are 10 in number for Namaprad, 64 in number for Seva Aparad. So total 74. If I give 1 minute for each, we need 74 minutes. You can read Nectar of Devotion. There is a chapter in itself which describes about these 74 offenses. You want to ask a question? Yes, Boli.
So this can also be open that information when we are doing service we want to be recognized.
That I told you. Pujala Pratishtha.
So how exactly we can approve that? Because these things are so intense, it's our degree right? And we distribute information so that we don't act or distribute.
His point is that how to avoid means when we do service, we feel that we should get recognition for that. So how can we approve this? At least one thing that we can start with is when you're not recognized, we should get disturbed. At least we can start from that point. Yes. And one thing is there that I was also contemplating on this point. I was just thinking that if I can attain a little higher stage of bhakti, if I start tasting something higher in Krishna consciousness, I will not want all this. If I chant Hare Krishna nicely and say I reach a stage where I'm able to get the manifest form of the Lord, oh, so bhar mein jaa tumhara recognition. I don't want. That will be the mood. And also another thing is that self-introspection and reminding oneself again and again that I'm doing it for what? For the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. At least if बार बार खुद को याद दिलाते रहना, it actually works. It helps. I'm seeing in my own life. It helps. So we have the disease of recognition, but the disease is it gets cured somewhat when we keep reminding ourselves and keep taking the medicine of intense devotional service and remind tweaking that mood again and again that I'm doing this for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. It helps.
That point you mentioned regarding this ignoring the instructions of the scriptures like that want that for us is difficult to understand because they like those who are disciples of Prabhupada, they have spent time with Prabhupada, they have been there in missions, but we cannot judge that their instructions are not right. That's how we can understand. Just by reading things, we will not understand.
Okay, Prabhu's point is how will we understand that which instruction is in line with Srila Prabhupada and which is not? I think it will be clear. If you read Prabhupada's books, it's clear. Because see, there are not many instructions. ऐसे नहीं कि Prabhupada ने बहुत exhaustive list दी है. There are only few only. Yes. Some for our personal development, some for preaching, and some for the entire organization. So if you understand these, I think it should be possible. And he has listed everything in these books. ठीक है, it's 9:04. No, we'll stop. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to thank Prabhuji for giving such an amazing class on this topic of Bhakti Lata. So